thank you for being with us. Bombshell tonight, live to South Carolina. A 12-month-old little girl, Leaona Wright, disappears. We join family and law enforcement in the search for baby Leaona. At this hour, startling new facts are emerging as the clock ticks down. Straight out to Joey Hudson, host with WGTK. Joey, in a nutshell, this is the story as I understand it. Mommy goes out to a bachelorette party. She comes home in the wee hours. She doesn't normally stay out late, but this was a special occasion. A wedding was coming up for her sister. Her sister was getting married, so this is the bachelorette party. She comes home, falls into the bed, oversleeps the next morning, wakes up 9 a.m., the front door's open, the one-year-old baby Leaona, pictured here, is gone. And they think maybe the 3-year-old big sister opened the door and that the baby got out. That's my understanding of the facts so far.
Nancy, you're right, and we're in day 5 of this search, and the Anderson County Sheriff's Office said today that it was changing the strategy of how they pursue the investigation.
Well, hold on, wait a minute, right there. That's important, Joey Hudson, WGTK. The Anderson County Sheriff's Office has been all over this from the get-go. The sheriff joining us earlier. They at first were searching all around the apartment complex and beyond. Now they're trying, as I understand, Joey, they're focusing on how the baby got out of the apartment. Is that the new focus?
That's the focus of their investigation now, because I think anyone who has heard about the case, and you think about a 1-year-old child who, and it's conflicting as to whether or not she could walk or not, but still a 1-year-old could not get very far on her own from this apartment. So yes, Sheriff Skipper is now focusing on leads that he's receiving from various members of the public. There's been a couple of rewards offered by Crime Stoppers and other groups, and that's what he's basing his focus on now, is how did the baby get out of the apartment.
You know, though, Joey Hudson, I don't know if you have children or not. Joey joining us, a host with WGTK. You're right. She couldn't probably get far on her own, as it's my understanding this child is still crawling, which is not unusual. But here's the thing. She doesn't have to go far. If you look at the way the apartment complex is set up, she doesn't have to go far before she could be spotted by a car. Be spotted by a pedestrian, be spotted by somebody that lives in that apartment complex, be spotted by a maintenance man, a garbage man, anybody, a repairman. Anybody could have seen her. She didn't have to go that far. Let's see the aerial of that apartment complex one more time, please. So if this baby was out crawling around for even 15 minutes, 20 minutes, that she would be in contact with other people from the complex, from the parking lot, which goes onto a roadway. So she doesn't have to get that far. Joining me right now is special guest LaRusha Sullivan, the cousin of the mom, Kiara Sullivan, and missing baby Leaona. LaRusha, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
LaRusha, I understand that the mom was out for a bachelorette party the night before, and she came in really late. That's not typical for her. She's not a party girl that stays out all night, every night, but isn't her other sister getting married? Who's getting married?
Well, it wasn't a bachelorette party. It was a wedding rehearsal. We was at a wedding rehearsal, and it started around like 7, and it ended around 10:30. And it was her sister, her older sister.
Because the sheriff of Anderson County told us that she came in the wee hours, sometimes after 3 a.m., that she had gone to a bachelorette party. That's the information they had. But you're telling me it was the rehearsal dinner and the rehearsal for the wedding that was supposed to happen the next day?
Yes.
Okay, so the wedding's happening the next day, and Mom, with me is LaRusha Sullivan, who is the cousin of the mom here, Kiara. So her sister's getting married. Was she supposed to be in the wedding?
Yeah, she was. We were all in the wedding.
Okay,
she was a bridesmaid.
Did you see her at the rehearsal?
Yes, we was all together till about 10:30.
All right. So she appeared to be normal and nothing unusual. She wasn't
Yes,
upset or
we was having a
distraught.
ball.
Ma'am?
We was having a ball. We was having fun. All the family was together. We was just having fun.
And at that time, there was no concern about baby Leaona because she was
No,
with
ma'am.
you all for a period of time. And the boyfriend was at home at any time. Did she get a phone call from the boyfriend that the baby wouldn't stop crying or the baby wouldn't eat or the baby wet the bed? Anything like that happen?
Yes, actually, she called to check on her kid, and he said that was fine. And she also told him that she was going out to party for her sister, who was out
Right.
going out. And he said that was fine. Okay, and I got the kid.
Oh, so that must have been where the sheriff got the bachelorette party thing from. After that, everybody went out with the sister. So the next day, the wedding is to take place. What time is the wedding supposed to happen?
The wedding is supposed to happen at 4 o'clock that day.
When did you find out baby Leaona is gone?
Well, the girl that called the 911 inboxed another family member while we was at the shop getting our hair done, and she said someone needs to come up here. Kiara's baby's missing. So that was around like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Oh my stars, I can
ran up
only
there as fast as we
imagine.
could.
All of you in there getting your hair done, getting ready for the wedding. It's going to happen in a couple of hours, and you find out the baby is gone. All right, what happened then?
We flew up there to Pilmington as fast as we could. When we got up there, it was just chaos. Everything was going on. It was like 1,000 police. I asked Kiara what happened. She said she woke up late for a hair appointment, and, you know, she asked Travis to get the kids up so that she can get them ready for her dad to come get them. And she went up and looked in the kid's room, and the baby was missing. But her older daughter was there still.
Where was the older daughter? And we have been told the front door was ajar, open.
Yes, it was.
Where was the 3-year-old?
The 3-year-old was there in the home.
Was she still asleep?
No, she was woke.
Okay, see, I wanted to find that out because one theory is the 3-year-old opened the door, the 3-year-old big sister, and the baby may have crawled out. Now, baby Leaona, was she able to walk? That's the big question.
She was starting to walk. Yes, she was walking at the time.
Ah, okay, because we were told the baby could not walk, but you're telling me she could take some steps, right?
Yes, she could take steps now.
What was the baby, do you know what baby Leaona was wearing the night before?
Well, I don't know personally what she was wearing. I'm just going off of what Kiara said she had on a white T-shirt.
Okay, let me ask you this. What is the mom, Kiara, saying now? What does she think? She wakes up. What was her initial reaction? Let me start with that. When she realizes the baby's gone.
She was shocked. She didn't know what to do. She ran outside, looked everywhere, under the bed. She said she even looked in cabinets and closets, even though she knew that her baby couldn't be in there. She just checked everywhere, you know, to try to find her. She said she went outside screaming and hollering, you know, try to get everybody's attention to help her find her baby. She didn't know what to do.
Oh, Larisha, you are giving me a chill up and down my spine because I'm thinking if I walked into my twins' room and one or both of them were missing, what would you do? I would do exactly that. Go look in every cabinet, look in every room, run out in the yard and start screaming because you don't know what to do. So after she had even looked in the cabinets, even knowing the baby wouldn't be there, what did she do?
She ran outside and hollered and screamed for someone to call the police. She didn't know what else to do.
When you first talked to her after Leaona is gone, what was her demeanor? How did she act?
Well, yesterday was my first time seeing her smile in a couple of days. She's always shaking and crying and like out of it. It's not her anymore. She's keep falling out and, you know, having little spells. She's staying with her mother right now, and my aunt said when she gets up in the middle of the night just to go check on Kiara, she's on her knees praying to the good Lord, crying for her baby's safe return.
You know what, when you said that, Laresha, I think every parent hearing you right now can only imagine what that is like. And joining me right now, not only the mom's cousin, all set to go to that wedding. The mom was supposed to be at her sister's wedding that day in just a few hours. And she finds out as they're all getting ready to go to the wedding. She's trying to get the children all dressed. You know how that is, to get everybody dressed, and you yourself are the last one to get dressed. To find out your baby is missing, your baby is gone. Mark Class, you have been there. That feeling, that shock, that fear, that you don't know what to do. Do you remember that when Polly went missing, that feeling when you first, it really dawns on you, she's not in a cabinet, she's not hiding in the bathtub, she's not under the bed, she's not under a blanket, she's gone.
Yeah, of course I remember it. I remember it like it was yesterday. I wasn't on premises when Polly was kidnapped. I was informed by a phone call at 11:30 at night. I spent the rest of the evening confirming with law enforcement and trying to get more information, contacting the FBI, doing those kinds of things. It was only the next morning at about 6 o'clock, after being up all night, that I heard that Polly had been kidnapped on the radio, that it really began to sink in that this was not an incident
Mark,
that I was
I
dreaming.
did not know that that's how you found out Polly was kidnapped. So you've been up all night at 6 a.m. You hear it on the radio?
Yep. And then I had to call my family. I didn't want them to hear it like I did. So really one of the most difficult tasks of my life was calling my family members one after another, listening to my mother take her breath back, listening to one of my sisters weep, listening to another one of my sisters saying, don't do anything until I get there, and really trying to emotionally wrap our arms around the fact that this horrible act had occurred.
You know what, Mark, like so many crime victims, when that moment happens to you, it seems so surreal, and it's unlike any feeling I have ever known. It's like your body and your mind cannot accept what you know to be true. And to me, this mother, from what I can tell right now, this mother is telling the truth. What the cousin just told me sounds absolutely believable. That she went into hysterics, crying, looking in the cabinets even, trying to find her daughter, running out into the yard, screaming, somebody help me.
Couldn't even walk. She couldn't leave from that apartment.
Somebody came into the house and took the child.
Oh my God, ma'am, I don't know.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
They're reporting that they were asleep early in the morning when they woke up at the 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock hour. The front door was open.
I'm just gonna be honest with you because basically they should have been up with these kids. She said she was asleep when she woke up that her baby was gone.
Wondering, where is my baby? They go look at the mom in the middle of the night, and the mother finds her on her knees praying, God, bring Leaona back to me. This child is now missing. We are now into day 4. Where is Leaona? I want to go to Pat Lalama, investigative reporter. What can you tell me?
Well, I can tell you that I was on the phone talking to the sheriff's department, asking what about the search at this point. Now, we know they've done an exhaustive job trying to find this child, but at this point, Nancy, you know what they tell me? The answer is going to be in tips from the public. They so desperately need tips from the public, and like you say, we're talking about a dense population in that apartment. It's a Saturday. People aren't working. They're outside on their lawns. Somebody has to know something. Please, somebody in the public needs to help answer this mystery.
Here is an issue that I have. Cheryl Dorsey, retired LAPD sergeant, author of The Creation of a Manifesto, Black and Blue. Cheryl Dorsey, we don't have a really good timeline. because the mom comes home from the wedding rehearsal and the party with her sister and the cousin who was with us tonight. She's exhausted. She goes straight to sleep, all right? For all I know, the boyfriend could have already been asleep, but the baby could have been taken right after that. Nothing is telling me the baby was taken at 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. We don't know when the baby was taken. That's the thing. We don't know if the 3-year-old sister opened the door and the baby crawled out. We don't know if somebody came in that door. We don't know how the baby got out, Cheryl.
Right, and so it's important for the officers to really start a small area of searching and then expand out. You want to start within that residence, then you want to look at the complex, you want to look at the areas surrounding the complex, and then broaden your search, because at this point that child could be anywhere or she could be gone, right?
Who's the child's mother?
It don't make no sense.
Not making sense. Search and rescue teams out, tracking dogs, horseback riders, sifted through mounds of garbage from the apartment.
The parents are really not saying nothing. They just crying and hollering.
Where is baby Leaona? I want to go straight back out to the cousin, Laresha Sullivan, who was with the mom the evening before, just hours before her baby goes missing. The sister was supposed to get married the next day, Saturday at 4 o'clock. The whole family gathered at the church the night before for the wedding rehearsal, the wedding dinner. Then the girls all go out and they have a little party after, the big bachelorette party. Mommy comes home. This is very unusual for her to be out that late. She comes home exhausted, goes straight to bed that one night. She doesn't look at the children first. Goes to sleep. Oversleeps the next morning, jumps up, oh my stars, I got to get ready, I got to get my hair done, it's the wedding. The child is gone. She's running around. You know that feeling when you got to get somewhere and you got to get all your children ready, and then you're running around and the baby is gone? To Laresha Sullivan joining us, again, I want to thank you so much for being with us. You don't know how many prayers have gone up, how many thoughts are with this baby and her mother and the whole family. And I want you to know that during the hours that are to come. I wanted to ask you, the apartment, is it on the ground floor, second, third floor? What level is it?
Well, hers is on the ground floor at the back.
Okay, so it would have been entirely possible for the baby to crawl out. I was trying to figure out, would the baby have to go down or upstairs? Would the baby have to get on an elevator somehow to get out? Let me ask you another thing. I'm trying to understand the layout of the apartment, Laresha, because I'm trying to figure out if the baby got out the door on its own and she was toddling a little bit and crawling. You know, the apartment doors, even in the back, are not that far from the parking lot. If she were playing in that back area, anybody could have seen her and grabbed that child. Anybody, Laresha.
And it's a wooded area back there behind the apartment complex.
You know, I've been looking in that wooded area, and it looks like she would have had to crawl out and up into the woods. And that's hard for me to believe that the baby would have done that. And you see the tracker dogs, both tracker and cadaver dogs, have come up with nothing in that wooded area. So I don't think the baby went to the wooded area. I think somebody, a grown person, took this baby. Laresha, are there any other children in the home, any older children, other than the 3-year-old?
No, just the 3-year-old.
Okay, well, it's not the 3-year-old. I can tell you that. It's not the 3-year-old. Also with us, Stacy Newman. Stacy, what about the trash dump? I understand there was a search of that and it's ended. It came up with nothing.
Yeah, well, we heard multiple dumpsters of trash from that apartment complex were picked up the day baby Leaona went missing. So police sent search teams to a waste transfer station, which is the area it goes to before it goes to the landfill, because they wanted to check for clues before it goes to the landfill and it turns into a needle in a haystack.
Gotcha. So they did that. They did exactly what Stacey Newman was talking about, came up with nothing. Now the police, Mark Klass, did not have any reason to think the baby had been thrown in the trash, but they were covering all their bases. I mean, this Anderson County Sheriff's Department's been all over it. So Mark Klass, what now?
Well, what now, Nancy? I mean, I think that the police have determined that the little baby didn't walk off on its own. And I also think it's really, improbable that some random person saw a little baby outside an apartment on Saturday morning and then decided that they would take the baby and keep the baby or move the baby or kill the baby. The vast majority of people would do whatever they needed to do to protect that baby. So I think this is something that may have been random. Well, not random, but it may not have been premeditated. That door may have been open. Somebody may have had access. I think the answer to this dilemma, this mystery, lies within the confines of that apartment block.